I wanted to know how your January is going. You know, it's a new year still, the beginning of it all. And for myself, I'm thinking about we have been in a cold snap in Chicago for a little over a week. It's January. This should be normal. What type of music are you listening to keep you warm and happy? I'm wondering, is it a favorite song that comes to mind when you are at home, chilling, doing your thing? When you are frozen out from going out of your home? What's happening with that? I'm going to be asking these questions. I love music. Music gets me through some tough times and even being frozen indoors. Ah, gosh. All this and more coming up on this edition of the Interludes Podcast on Spotify. The Interludes Podcast,
a Pure Lighthouse production.
This episode is brought to you by PureLighthouseMedia.com, home to the book, A DJ Saved My Life, where the ABCs of podcasting and the personal memoir come together perfectly. If you want to start your podcast journey, schedule a 15-minute call with me, research our podcasting blog tips. It's all on our fully remodeled website today.
And now, all the way from the south side of Chicago, give it up for your host, Val The Voice Johnson.
Hey, I'm Coach Tony, and this is the Pull Up Podcast Show. For every Monday, we break down the game quarter by quarter and give you information as well as break down the culture. Join us on the Pull Up Podcast Show.
Pull up, pull up. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up, pull up. Bounce the voice and Coach Tony, you know. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Show. I said bounce the voice and Coach Tony, you know. It's the Pull Up.
Are you a small business owner looking to grow? Introducing the Key Spot mobile app. I'm Cynthia McAllister, owner of the IT company Quality SAP. Since 2016, we have been supporting small businesses and help them promote and share their businesses, services, and events across the country. KeySpot is more than just an app. We are a network providing community. KeySpot, connecting communities and supporting small businesses.
It is the Interludes Podcast on Spotify with your host, Val The Voice Johnson. I hope you guys are having a wonderful, safe time. Over the weekend, we got hit with this massive snowstorm. But here in Chicago, we handled it like a beast. It's normal. We're a little bit in a cold snap. Let me see. What is our temperature right now? Our temperature is, got a heat wave. 41 degrees. Sorry. 14 degrees. I'm sorry. I inversed the numbers. These are some of the things that happened in January, which is cold snaps, winter storms. This stuff is normal. I'm going to ask you guys to look out and pray for our very own co-host of Interlude Sex Represents Talk on Tuesday and the host and creator of the Pull Up Podcast Show. Do you know Coach Tony has been without power the vast majority of the week? I have not called and checked in on him today, but I need to find out as this recording Coach Tony has not had power for over 4 days. I think his power went out on Sunday. This is ridiculous. And he told me that it's showing that the power grid couldn't handle the frozen snowstorm that came through. I think he's in Nashville. So for any of my friends and family that is in the South and you are experiencing what us normal Chicagoans call January, we apologize on behalf of all of the northern cities that are used to being snowed in, frozen out, and we are still rolling with power. It's not a flex. It's just every time I think about wanting to move south or to a different area that's warm, I know the hawk can find its way to Georgia or Alabama or Tennessee or Kentucky, all the southern states. A lot of you guys it's cold there. And it's unseasonably cold, but it's January. I think you probably have to go as far south as Miami to almost escape the snap that's happening. But I have a question for you as a DJ. What music are you listening to when you are snowed in or frozen out? Like you can't go anywhere. And I'm wondering what Coach Tony was listening to when he didn't have power. Now, he did tell me the first night while he was without power, he listened to a mix he did because he does house music and mixes, and he still uses records because a lot of people don't use records. They use MP3s, MP4s. So Coach said, I listened to some music and I felt good. He's been eating out and then also cooking on his grill. And he said because it's so cold in Nashville, he could put his food that was in the freezer outside and it's staying frozen. So a lot of these southern cities are not used to this type of, I want to call it freeze out. But what are you listening to when it comes to music? What are you jamming to when, you really can't go anywhere? For myself, I have really gone into loving kind of a neo soul jazz. I don't have any artists that pop into mind when I think about that. But then I'm like, you know what? I would love to sometimes, go do a throwback and listen to some of my favorite music from, I want to call it the mid to late 80s and then the 90s. I was on a business call earlier and we have a book club and then we talk amongst us. And there's a lot of people on our business call that are from Generation X. That's the generation I come from, which is, Generation X. I feel like Gen X is the bridge. It's the bridge in technology. It's the bridge in music. It's the bridge in so many different ways. And when I say the bridge, television was up and going when we were born, but the technology was growing as we grew up. We found out about, and I'm referring to technology, microwaves, although we found out that they're really, microwaving food is really not that good. But then the color television that was already established when we got here, but then the VCR, the cassette tape, because at one point it was reel to reel, and then it was, what was the other thing? 8-track, and now it was cassette tapes. And then when I think the compact disc, I believe, was introduced in the 80s. And it was a big deal too. I remember buying a CD and it had a big box and then inside of it was the CD and the casing that it came into, and then eventually they got rid of the big box, and then it was good. But when I think about being, indoors and I can't go anywhere, or I choose not to go anywhere because I don't want to, be in danger with sliding up and down the roadways, what comes to mind is either soft jazz music or some of my favorite artists that are in that, I want to call it neo soul or R&B, chillax type of thing. I was a huge fan of Alexander O'Neal when I was young. If I flash back to my freshman year in high school, I was a huge fan of a radio station that was popular here in Chicago, and it was called WNUA, and it introduced me to jazz, and it introduced me to kind of the adult contemporary R&B side of things. Like the other stations would play those songs at night, but WNUA would play this music throughout the day. One of my favorite songs, and it was, I think, Herbie Hancock and Stanley Clarke. A huge fan of their sound. There was Earl Klugh. My father loved jazz musicians like Hugh Masekela, Miles Davis, John Coltrane. He would have their records. Wes Montgomery. But then I got introduced to the people that were doing jazz at that time. And I hate to say this, people thought of Kenny G as pop jazz. I didn't even think there was a thing. But because he popularized the soprano sax with, what was the name of that song? I can even hear it. Da 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 da. But it was very calming. I remember hearing that. But if I want to be put into a good relaxed state when things outside of my house are frozen and the snow is coming down, I want to hear music that's going to take me back to a time where, number one, the people that I love, that I miss, they're here. They're listening with me. My mom became a fan of the jazz music on WNUA. And then she would go, "Who is that?" And I'm like, that's Stanley Clarke, or that's Kenny G. There's so many different musicians that became popular. And then there was the R&B songs that got played over there. And I'm talking, let's stay with me. This is Gen X talk. So this was music that came out between 84, 85 to like 87, 88. And I was in that headspace. Like I need to calm down and to listen to, and I would turn on the radio station. Well, here's the thing. Now in AI world, you can create your own music, right? I've seen a bunch of ads online for Suno, and I think, in fact, I know I'm going to be converting over to a pro because I've been using it for free and using it for credits. And even the background music you're listening to for this podcast right now is music that I created with Suno, and I love it. And if I tell it, if I graduate to studio, I can bring in instruments and it can compose a whole song. And I like that. And I'll tell it, I need it to sound like a throwback from the 80s or from the 90s. And music has a way of making situations that are out of our control a whole lot calmer. Wouldn't you agree with that? Yeah. And I probably will do a poll with this podcast. I'll let you all know, like, what is your favorite genre of music? And I'll give you some choices. Because there's some people that love rock music, and I feel when I'm trying to clean the house and I'm trying to fight myself up, I don't mind putting on Guns N' Roses to make it do what it do. I don't mind doing Van Halen or, I don't know, just rock music so I can get it going. Aerosmith. Like, that was a big deal to combine rap and rock music with Walk This Way, Aerosmith, and Run DMC. That was huge back in the day. But I'm thinking, like, for right now, for music that is popular right now, who is that go-to artist that you love? For me, I like the artist Her. She's recorded some great music that I'm a fan of. I'm a fan of Jasmine Sullivan. Yeah, I love her sound. She sounds a little angry. I want her to fall in love. I don't think she's still angry, but those are just some of my thoughts. And then, you know, there's other artists as well. And I'm mentioning a lot of this music in conjunction with the weather is because, you know, do you find yourself going to this artist to help you feel relaxed, or are you creating your own music? And I have discovered probably over 20 channels that are faceless, and they just do smooth music. My favorite I was introduced to through my business cohort, the morning meetup. I love that space. There is a YouTube channel called SoFi Room. I am literally getting ready to reach out to them and find out, can I use their music for with permission, because their sound is so relaxing. And there's one that I've gotten caught up on, and I'm listening to it. I remember I have a system in another room, a surround sound system in another room, so I played it in there, and I just sat there with my laptop and was just vibing, and I was like, yo, this is how music needs to sound. And I know if it's AI created, okay, I get it. But I feel like the best inspiration comes from organic music, organic intelligence. And so I'm real hype about that. I am so hyped about where things are going. But I would love to know, what's your favorite music? What is that genre of music you go to when you need to be calm and, you know, chill, especially if you're dealing with, like I said earlier, the elements outside that won't allow you to travel and do your thing. Now, anyone else that's listening to this in any other part of the world and you're going outside in a tank top and shorts, God bless you. Enjoy your weather. Because I know in this hemisphere, we're experiencing winter, but in other hemispheres, they're experiencing summer right now in January. And how is your January, how is the start of your year going? Are you looking forward to the rest of the year? Are you excited about what you have been learning, either in your business or in your career, in your job? I'm excited about starting a part of my business that's going to reunite me to photography. That's all I'm going to say about that, because I don't want to jinx myself. I just want to make sure that I make that transition and go, let's see what that looks like. I saw someone's YouTube video. I was up late watching it, and I says, I would love to be able to do that. I would love to be able to create that for someone. And so there are so many business models that are coming up with using artificial intelligence, AI, and the organic side of things, music. And so, Suno, if you guys are currently using it, I say go ahead and copyright and make it yours. So-Fi Room, I'm reaching out to you guys because keep producing and doing that music. I love seeing the sister girl or the brother man in the pink or whatever, and they're writing and you hear the music. And I think they do music. It recycles. It's like every 3 or 4 minutes, it's a new song. It goes on for like 2 hours, 3 hours, 8 hours. And I'm able to get stuff done. And so, Nella from our business cohort, thank you so very much for introducing many of us to that particular YouTube channel. Just giving you guys a shout out. And here's the thing. If you would love a shout out here on the Interludes Podcast, please let me know. We would love to give you a shout out. If there is an artist, especially independent artists, that you're vibing with and you love them, we'd love to know about that. And so as I close, I just wanted to come on and say I really, really appreciate everyone that has supported this podcast this entire 5 years that we've been going. We're going on 6 years now. And so I just wanted to get on and number one, pray for Coach Tony. The next time I talk to him, I pray that he has power. And for anyone else that's defrosting from what's happening, I hope that you have a playlist that sounds phenomenal. And it's helping you get through these cold days in January in the northern hemisphere of the earth. Because everybody that's in South Africa and everywhere else, if you all are enjoying summer, continue to do so. Let me know where you're listening in from, and we love to give you guys a shout out too. But for this edition of the Interludes Podcast, I'm Val The Voice Johnson. Thank you so much for joining me on today. And this is the Interludes Podcast on Spotify. The Interludes Podcast.
Original concept by Valerie Johnson.
Sports segments for Talk on Tuesdays, produced by Coach Tony Thompson.
Original intro and outro music produced by Kendall Nesbitt.
The Interludes Podcast, a pure Lighthouse production. This episode is brought to you by our brand new website, PureLighthouseMedia.com, the official home of A DJ Saved My Life, where the ABCs of podcasting meet personal transformation. And now available in print. Order your signed copy today and discover how finding your voice can change your life. Are you a business or entrepreneur looking to promote your work through a dynamic podcasting platform? Partner with us through sponsorship and marketing opportunities. Your message belongs in front of our audience. Got that $1 million podcast idea, but don't know where to start? Whether you need a coach, a guide, or a full-on producer, I'm here to walk you through the process and bring your podcast vision to life. Visit PureLighthouseMedia.com today to get your book, book your consultation, or connect with us about sponsorship. Let's grow together.